Hey, what's up, bootstrappers? This is Ryan Nickel coming at you with another lesson learned. All right, man, this one is called You Get Out What You Put In. It's the old saying, you reap what you sow. So, think of it this way. I'm gonna give you a quick little analogy and then I'm gonna apply it to a business. So, let's say you're cold, you're freezing, and you come up and you're like, hey man, you know what? I need to have a heart-to-heart with you. And you're talking to like a wood-burning stove and you're like, all right, here's how it's gonna work. You're gonna give me heat and then I'm gonna feed you wood, okay? But I'm not gonna feed you wood until you give me heat, all right? Give me what I want and then I'll give you what you're desiring. It doesn't work that way. You'll end up freezing yourself to death. The way it works is you gotta put the wood in. You gotta strike a match. You gotta let that stuff burn and get hot. It takes time. It has to, go through this process to heat up the whether it's the stones or the coils or whatever it is inside that stove, and then you get the heat. So you got to do the work, and you got to be patient and have trust or faith that the work you're doing is actually going to produce the desired result. And so, how does this apply to business? Just like anything else, if you're not prospecting and if you're not following up with the prospects that you have connected with, in other words, if you're not marketing for your business, then you're not going to get business. It's just that simple. You're not going to sit there and wait for, web leads to come in if you don't have a website. You're not going to sit there and wait for your phone to ring if you're not out there mailing letters or postcards. It's that simple. You have to do the work in order to receive the benefit and the rewards. Without that, there is no business. You go broke. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to people that are like, hey man, I got no money. I got nothing going on right now. I need to figure out how to get this stuff going. I'm like, great, what are you doing? Well, I'm just trying to figure this out. I'm studying and I'm listening to a bunch of podcasts and a bunch of YouTube videos. That's how I found you. Hey man, congratulations. I'm glad you found me. But let this be the reality check that you're waiting for. Man, you're not going to find the answers out there on YouTube. You're not going to find the answers out there on Facebook. You have to actually get out there and do the work. When I was broke, when I was homeless, when I was on food stamps, what did I do? I went to Craigslist and I dialed every single day for hours, talking to for sale by owners and talking to for rent by owners, because I knew why? Because either they're too cheap to hire a real estate agent or a property manager, or they don't have enough equity. And I pigeonholed myself into the skinny deals where there's not a lot of equities. I buy those houses all day long, and guess what? A lot of sellers back in 2014, the market still hadn't rebounded yet. The bottom for most markets was 2012, and so 2014 was just a blip up above that, and they were still hurting. They were still upside down, and I bought multiple houses my first year in this business from sellers who were upside down, who wanted to get away from their property, from their pain, and I bought those houses, taking them over subject to. I didn't have any money. But if I would have sat there and I would have said, come on telephone, you know how broke I am. Come on telephone, you know how desperate I am for money right now. Just give me what I want, and then I'll push those numbers and I'll start dialing after you give me what I want. Just have someone call me. Just have them call me. And it's like this game of like hope, like I'm gonna sit and wait and I'm gonna pray. And that stuff does not work. You have to actually get out there and do the work. And this amazing thing happens. God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, I call it God, but you can call it whatever you want. I really don't care. They conspire against you for your benefit, for your good. You start taking the work, or you start doing the work, and things start falling into place. You're like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? I look at myself, my first deal, 3 weeks, and I got a check for $20,000, not knowing anything. Now I had the help of a mentor. He was like, okay, I'm going to guide you through this process, but I created the work. I got the phone to ring. I made the relationship. I found the seller. I did all of that, and then my mentor helped me walk through the process because I didn't know anything about paperwork. I'm like, what is going on here? He helped me with that portion of it, but everything else I did myself. But it wasn't like, hey, look at me, I'm awesome, I'm so cool. If I'm really honest with myself, when I look back, it was God the entire time guiding me. He's like, okay, Ryan, good for you. You know what? I see you have the faith that this is going to work out for you. I'm going to show you just exactly how well this is going to work out for you. I made a few phone calls, made a few connections, and boom, all of a sudden I was put in place with the right person at the right time. It was actually it was a guy that knew what I was doing and what I was looking for. He's the one that introduced me to the seller, and this seller was going through a real hard time financially. He had 11 properties. I ended up buying or working with him on 7 of those 11, and what a blessing it was. But it was nothing that I did on my own. You see, I put it out there like, this is what I am doing, this is what I'm looking for, and someone else goes, oh, okay, hey, I'll put you two together, and bam, that's how it works. Beautiful relationship. That's God conspiring for my good. And that happens with you as well. We call that beginner's luck. You know, someone tries something for the very first time, they don't know what they're doing, they're fumbling, they're falling all over themselves. But guess what? It works anyway. And then you start to get more and more refined, more and more into the process, and that's how things work. But you have to take that first action. You got to put wood into the stove. You got to be able to pick up that phone and make those phone calls. You got to be able to identify the properties or the list that you're going to go ahead and mail, and you got to push send, and you got to pay for those mailers. You got to do all of that stuff. Now, you don't need a fancy website. You don't have to have call capture, all this stuff. Man, I just use my phone number. That's all I ever did for the longest time, was just my regular old phone number. Now, I had no way of tracking it and stuff like that, but who cares? Because I'm not in the game of tracking stuff. I'm in the game of making money, especially when I'm broke and when I'm getting started in this game. And I find too many guys get all sidetracked on all these different things. I got to get my LLC set up. I got to get my website set up. I got to get my call capture number set up. I got to get my office mailing address. Oh, screw all of that, man. Seriously, I was homeless. I didn't even have an address. I mean, you can't get any worse than that. I went out there and I did it because I believed in myself and I believed in the process that it was going to work. And now, if things aren't happening in your life, this is where things start to fall apart for you. It's because you do not believe either in yourself or you don't believe in the process. And I can tell you what, there are a lot of different processes out there. I can't speak to the one you're going. I know that my process works. But if you don't believe in yourself, that's a whole different story. And that's a whole nother issue. But I can tell you what, the fastest way to cure that is to take action. If you don't believe in yourself, guess what? I believe in you. Go out there and start taking some action, and you'll see that things will start coming together for you in ways that you've never dreamed that they could. You never even believed that it would happen that way. That's the beautiful thing about this business, is that when you start making some effort into this business, the business starts to come back towards you as well. That's why I tell people all it takes is one deal. All you need is one deal, and it changes your entire financial future. After that, you've got the taste, you've got the hunger. You can go out and you can get it. And you have the resources to go ahead and refine things. Maybe get a website, maybe get a call caption number, maybe do whatever you need to do, get a PO box, whatever, I don't care. But until you've tasted that, you're not going to push through all the pain that comes afterwards. Because I'll tell you what, I got my first deal in 3 weeks. It was that fast. And then I struggled for 7 months to get my next deal. But I didn't give up because I had tasted it and I knew how good it was. Now, that was me trying to figure out the rest of this business. But I tell you what, once you get that first taste, you'll never go back. So get out there and do something. Take some action today. Stop sitting on the fence and take some action. Pick up the phone and just start talking to people. It's about having conversations with people. I didn't know what I was saying other than like, hey, you know what? I'm interested in buying your house. Are you interested in receiving an offer? Are you interested in selling? It's that simple. It really is that simple. Get out there and do it. Make some money and get that first deal if you don't have one yet. I'm Ryan Nickel with Bootstrap REI. If you want some more help, go ahead and go to bootstraprei.com. We have some free resources for you there. And just remember, you're one deal away from changing your entire financial future.